So tonight we have our program name is MS Conversations Now. This is an MS Patients Voices program. And my name, for those that don't know, is Stuart Schlossman. I'm president and founder of MS Views and News. This program is supported by only MS Views and News. This is an event or a program that I've been wanting to do for years. And the best time that I have doing it is with these two guys that are online with me again tonight, as we started this series doing, and we've been doing it quarterly with both of them. So Damian Washington, who, like I said, we don't know if he's an actor or a rapper or a nerd or a nerdy speaker, an advocate or motivational speaker or an inspirational speaker. It doesn't matter because he knows his stuff and he knows how to please what everybody is listening to. All right. And then we got Tyler Campbell. And Tyler, well, Tyler teaches me a lot of stuff. I listen to some of the things he talks about, and that's where I got to learn that I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm an inspirational speaker for all the crap that I do in life and what people want to do just to keep up with all the crap that I am doing. But Tyler's got other stuff that he's going to talk about. And for everybody that is listening or will be listening, this is primarily a men's program, and we're going to be saying some things that others may not agree with. All right. Go. So, Damian.
Sir.
I know I got to ask you questions first because if I don't, you forget.
I'll forget, Sam.
Remember those days? Okay.
That's
right.
No, I don't.
So firstly, I want to ask you, do you find yourself to be more motivational or inspirational?
It seems as if people think I'm inspirational. I think I am run by motivational. I am just someone who is happy to be given the space to speak, period. So however you want to label it is fine with me. Sure.
I got you on that. What about you, Tyler? Well, I already know the answer to that, but I'm going to let you tell everybody anyway, all right?
Yeah, so for one, just a lover of words and a lover of definitions, and there's a difference between the two. And so, for me, I classify myself as somebody who is inspirational. I feel like that comes back to value, which was what Damian was talking about earlier. He'll talk about that, I'm sure, today. But my inspiration, I know that I have a vision, and with that vision, it has a mission. And so I am consistently inspired by the task at hand that I'm supposed to use my mouth for. And that's with MS. That vision and mission won't change. I'm inspired. I don't require an outside force to get me to move for what it is that we need to do. I am born, I'm driven. And that's why we talked about MS awareness is March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. It is every single doggone month. It is every single doggone day. That's why you do what you do, Stuart, because you live and breathe MS. That's why Damian does what he does. It's 365.
Well, I thank you for that. But we're going to have a little competition here, everybody. Both Damian and Tyler and me, we all like to talk. So, if somebody's got the edge on the talking, well, we'll just let that person go, and we'll pick it up on the next thing. All right. So Damian and Tyler, I know that I gave you guys like stuff that I wanted to talk about, but we're also going to go off label, right? We're going to go off label because you guys deserve this. Now, Tyler, I know that you bring this up a lot. You talk about your love for people, and Damian, you talk about your love for people. I want you both to explain to us, everybody that's listening, all right, what is it that you mean about this love for people, and why is it that you can so freely say, I love you?
How do you, who you want to go first?
No, you go. Speak on that, TC.
Okay.
Let's go.
So for me, the way I live my life, the love, right? It comes from a place of understanding that everybody is different and appreciating that every person is a best written novel that they have yet to either tell or discover. I love stories. I love comic books. I love fiction. And so as much as D says he's a nerd, I'm right there along with him. And so my love and affinity for people is the fact that I could be captivated by people because I know there's a story behind this person that I see in line at the grocery store. I know there's a story behind these people I see walking down the street. So I genuinely love and appreciate for what somebody has been through, gone through, or is going through in their life, and they are still upright and able to move. and able to live life. I value and appreciate. I have a genuine love for people, a love and affinity for people. I take that thing a lot further when I talk about love from my heart. You know, my heart is the beat of life. Like it is the central thing that keeps me going. And so the body can't function without the functioning of a heart. And so when I tell individuals that I love them, I genuinely mean that for the bottom of my heart. Now, not everybody is deserving of that love. Not everybody receives that love. But when I see somebody who I genuinely care about, I am to the place as a 35-year-old man now where I can honestly tell another man, hey, I love you. Like those people who are in my inner circle of life, I can say it with conviction, even if they've never heard it before a day in my life, like in their lives, like, I love you. And I'm so comfortable with it in my own manhood because I value myself and I know I have a genuine affinity and love for people, and even more so for those who are in my circle, that I can say those things and not feel bad if the person who I say that to may not be in the same place I am as a man to say those things back. And I don't hold that against them. That's what I mean by saying that I love you.
Thanks for that. And I'm sure a lot of people, friends of yours, might not quite understand that, but we'll get into that in a minute. Damian, what do you think? Are you able to just tell everybody you love them?
Well, I have to make sure it's true. And I aim to say things that are always true. And I aim to veer away from things that are untrue. And so generally, I'm going to say I love you to someone. And whether or not they say I love you back, whether it's reciprocated is unimportant. Because if we are sharing space with each other and that is inspired within me, that's my truth. If their truth is they might love me, but they can't find their way to say it. Their truth might be, I don't love this dude. Or whatever it is, that's unimportant. It's important that I speak my truth. And even if somebody's like, I love you, and I haven't yet told them that I love them, I might have to think about it for a second to be like, not only do I love them, I want to enthusiastically represent the amount of love and why I love this person. And
yeah, so that's what I was going to ask. What is it that you say to a person? Like if you go up to a guy at a program and you like this guy a lot and you say, man, I love you. All right. So how is that person looking at you? I mean, do they think you want to love them or love them?
Well, it's
that's funny. Go ahead. I'm anxious.
In that difference, there might be something else there that I can pick up on. However, if it's genuine, heartfelt, I love you because of what you do. Love is it's a verb, man. It's an action thing. So perhaps my actions have stirred something in them to bring them to a space where they can say, I love you. And then that's their truth. And so I always honor that. And even if I don't love this person, I can find space in my heart and in myself at a time to be truthful, to reply to that. Even if it's I love you as well. I love you too. Maybe it's not that deep, profound, light and love throughout the whole universe love. However, I am going to reciprocate accordingly, you know?
Different layers of love is what he's saying, Stu. There's different, and it's not always like Hollywood portrays it in D's and actors, so he knows there's different levels, and so that love,
I got it,
reciprocated different ways.
That's right.
I got it. And I just want to remind everybody again, this is three guys just chewing the fat about.
It isn't your program. You don't count on your program, Stu.
It's okay. It's all right. But we're just three guys. We're just talking, all right? And we're talking about things to do with our lives with MS, all right? Yeah. And, we were having some great dialogue before we even began this program tonight. And I was like, wow, how do we do this again? And we really can't, all right? But but we are continuing as best we can. All right. So I did want to hit on these things that Tyler and Damian were talking about earlier. And I just wanted to make sure that it's brought up again. So Tyler, there's a size difference between you and Damian, right? And a guy sees you and they think of you as, that football player. And you go over to them and you say, hey man, I love you. And I know that people are going to look at that differently than if Damian goes over and says, I love you. So we just heard why Damian would say that to somebody. What possesses you to go around and tell people you love them?
I honestly, in my experience, and I mean this coming from the masculinity of the football world, right? And coming from a world where there's no space for that. This is all rub some dirt on it. This is we do what we do. We work. Masculine. What I found though is that out of hundreds and hundreds of guys, there's also like a level of love that every one of them have, but there's no space for it to be expressed. So it's not as uncommon as most people would think it is. And so, for me, what was I talking about again? This MS moment. Wait, what were we talking about? Yeah, I'm dead serious. This is on the track.
Give him the prompt, Stuart.
I'm dead serious.
I think you were talking about the quarterback and the center. I think you're talking about the quarterback and the center having that kind of love for each other.
Okay. So we're back on the track in terms of love. And so what I found though was that when there was a space that was created, and I mean this for genuine, going back to like former teammates now, as we're older, and saying the I love you space for them, the ones that I have that are in my inner circle, I noticed that the walls are able to come down and a man can actually say what he feels versus going so many years of his life where that was never okay to do. And finally feeling like, oh my gosh, I can say that. And there's no judgment. There's no want. There's no, you're not strong enough. You're not big enough. You're weakened. You are compromised. It was almost my experience has been with these men that I've known in different levels of playing ball, that the curtains have come down and they can finally sit in the space and be who they really want to be.
So let's refer that to the MS community. All right.
Yeah.
So people with MS probably should let people around them that they really care about know what they really think about them. All right. Rather than, a person that's maybe helping somebody out on a regular basis and that person not really knowing, what that the person that they're with, cares about them in what regard, that they're there for them. All right. And so like I know that for people that are around me that help me out with everything that I do, like for instance, I can't remember crap. Okay, so I got to rely on certain people to remind me all the time about what I got to remember. And again, that's an MS thing, but people are there to remind me of these things. And so, yes, I love them for them caring about me and making sure that I can do that much more in life. What do you guys think about that? Damian, you first.
One can always reciprocate that love, but I love you is such a short sentence. You can say, I love you, and then speak the rest of it to yourself. Like, I love you, but not like how I love my mama, but not like how I love my wife or my best friend. And that's fine. And the moment continues and there's no awkward space. You don't necessarily have to just let it hang there if somebody's like, I love you. And you're like, maybe they don't have that internal fortitude to be able to stand within themselves and say, I love you too. It's a very touchy thing because society has its own paradigms and what it means to be a man and what it means to love. And that doesn't necessarily always sit in the same space.
That's right. That's right. And Tyler, before I go to you about this, I just want to let you know that somebody did ask a question just now. And by the way, for anybody that wants to ask a question, I'm not going to say your name. All right. So we'll keep it private.
Keep it private.
Right? But a person just wrote, can a man say it to a woman? Can a man say to a woman, any woman, okay, that they love them without it being a harassment or without it, with or without multiple sclerosis? So do you think that a guy can just go around and say, yo, I love you?
I think what Damian was saying kind of almost solidified and just kind of
Yes.
answering that thing. So there's different stipulations, there's different levels for your love and the spaces that you put it in. I'm a married man. I can't walk around telling other women I love you.
Oh, I
Right?
love you, girl.
I love that doesn't happen. So when you are, you're cognizant of who you are speaking to and the space that you are in. If it's in work and in those spaces, before you just go speaking it again, like Damian said. Also, not everybody is deserving or is needing to hear that right off the bat. You take the time to get to know person
That's
if
right.
you are a man crossing over to the other sex, because you already know that is it can be a very touchy area that you're walking into with the opposite sex, as opposed to, you know what I'm saying? So we're smart enough, we are human. You know the space that you are telling this person I love you to. A lot of times random women, on a random scale, you kind of setting yourself up like that might not be received that well, telling a random woman that you love them.
Boom.
And what I'm saying, we're smart enough. So I feel like you read the situation. What is the context of the woman that you're speaking to? And obviously, I think you can. To answer your question, I believe you can. I believe you can tell women who are your friends that you love them, quote unquote. But you got to find that fine line. For me,
Okay.
I can't just go off telling people that I am married. So that's just not gonna fly for me. But can it happen?
Anyway,
Absolutely.
I understand that. So,
Absolutely.
what?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I want to go on to another subject because we're already like 20 minutes in and we're still on the same thing here. And we got a ways to go. So I just want to hit you up on something else. So you guys, we're emerging from COVID, obviously. Well, I think COVID will be around forever, just like the flu, right? But we're emerging from the restraints of the pandemic. And I want to know how this affected both of your lives. Tyler, can you go first? I want to do Tyler first because when Damian says afterwards, what was the question again? I get to laugh about it.
No, I already did it once, so you can't just be accusing D of that. And you already did it once, Stu. So each and every one of us with MS on this cast have already had our memory lapses. Okay, I remember that, D. No,
Yeah.
here I'm gonna get it short and sweet. And for me, it has been honest. I don't know, for whatever reason, me and my wife have been through a lot. Through COVID pandemic, have had to redefine communication, have had to change the way we parent our children. What worked between pre-COVID didn't work through COVID, and had to make changes. What I've noticed, everybody we normally communicate with, it's had to change our levels of communication because people are hurting. And I think
Right.
when people are hurting, you have to understand that sometimes the dialogue isn't meant to come at you like that. It's just because people are working through a heck of a lot of issues, and you just happen to be walking through in the passing, you got hit with something straight out of left field. So I think my biggest thing is having to reinvent my communication with people, and understanding that sometimes what comes out of anger or what comes out the wrong way, sometimes you can just be the innocent bystander passing through while another person is objecting their pain. So I think that's what
Sure.
I've kind of had to learn through this pandemic, is that, man, it's been a different way of communication. It's been a different way of listening, and understanding that a lot of the stuff that's come my way has been a lot of pain. Not necessarily towards me, but people are going through pain. And sometimes you get hit with stuff and you just be like, where did that come from? And so
That's right.
a lot of the stuff within my family has just been redefining communication and redefining the way I listen with people.
Okay.
Wow.
Damian, tell me about it.
Wow, I'm just holding space for that. Like, COVID's changed my life in the way that I am making sure that I am adding value in as many ways as I possibly can. So I'm making sure I add value in this space. I'm making sure I add value with my patient leader organizations differently. I'm making sure that I spend more time adding value with my own household, because not only can you be fine one day and in 12 days be on a respirator, like, oh man, I wish, right? There's also this, the entire public has changed And so because of that, what's important and how one lives their lives has changed. And so I'm still adjusting, everyone's still adjusting to figure out how to be their best self. But the more I keep focused on how to bring value in this moment, specifically in my way to the person or people that I'm trying to bring it to, that's the more important thing. Outside of a career, outside of what I'm supposed to be, outside of what I did in the past, what that other person might think I should be able to do. No, we're all here right now, and COVID has raised the stakes to what's important and what's necessary. And so it's raised the stakes, and therefore I aim to be able to be more present and more forthcoming with what's inside of me and patient with what might be inside of someone else, because oftentimes it's a staticky, uncomfortable feeling coming at you.
Did either one of you have COVID?
No. Boom.
Boom, me. Yeah, I know. Me. What about Tyler? You?
Yeah, man, I was raising my hand. I caught it right before Christmas, actually. 20.
Okay.
Vaccinated,
and
all that stuff.
No lingering effects for you? No lingering effects for you?
No lingering effects. That cough lasted a long time, though, Stu. That cough lasted, I don't know how long. I gave up count. It was some months right there. Cough.
Yeah. So yeah, and I got it back in the middle of January, and I tested positive for 6 weeks. And you know, God knows how I got it, because nobody around me, including our video producer, who's around me all the time, nobody got it. But I alerted everybody that once I found out, I let everybody know within 72 hours of where I was that I tested positive, and most of them quarantined also, but nobody else got it, which was really strange. And me being so vigilant about not getting it and wearing a mask and staying away from people and not shaking hands and using sanitizer all the time, it was like, how the hell did Stuart get it? But yeah, for me, I still feel it. You know, I got increased pain since, and like pain that I haven't felt in years from the MS, and it is all MS related pain, but it's, up to a 90% threshold again, which is really difficult. Makes it very difficult to sleep. And yet I am fatigued a lot too, but yet I have to fight the fatigue because I got to do what I do in life to provide for people with MS, right? So, but those are the challenges I'm facing with this, and it's still going forward. And I was told by doctors it could be another 3 to 6 months before this leaves my body. So
you are inspired, young man.
I am inspired because I'm inspirational.
You're inspired because you are still keeping on, baby.
Right? So I want to let everybody again know, whoever's online, if you have any questions for Damian, Tyler, or myself, just type it in and we'll get to your questions. Okay. All right. Yeah. Type like Tyler. Like Damian showing you.
Yeah.
All right. Another question I have for both of you, and that is, what did you each do during MS Awareness Month? What did you do? I'm going to start with Damian this time. What did you do for MS Awareness Month that inspired or motivated other people to do what you wanted them to understand?
Well, I aimed to be as present as in the space as I could be. And I'm looking at my list here to make sure I hit all the people. I was in this space with Dr. Mitzi Williams. Okay, I worked with Health Central. I worked with patient leader organization Memory-Cognition over in Switzerland. I worked with Prime Education to help people understand more things about multiple sclerosis. Novelia is another patient leader organization, multiple sclerosis focused, with emails. It's an email newsletter sort of a thing based in MS. I worked with them. I did videos for them. I did stuff with Genentech for the month. As a matter of fact, I just posted something else to finish that up this morning. And the other Kathy Chester, I call her. There's another person named Kathy Chester, and
Detroit.
She has a podcast. Yep. No, not that one. Another one, and she has a podcast as well. And so I was in the mix with her for that. So I just aimed to make myself as available as I could to other patient leaders to continue to hold space for people with this condition. That's what I did for Multiple Sclerosis Awareness Month. Holla at your boy.
Man, that's beautiful, man. That's what I'm talking about. That's why I hope
that's
people
great. And there are people that love you for that.
I love them for it. And that's why
There
I
are
show
people that
up.
love you for all that.
That's why I show up in the space.
That's right.
The love is genuine and the love is real. And it's important to share that love and share that light with as many people as you possibly can.
Yeah, it is.
Sure. Tyler, before I go to you, somebody's asking a question. Have any of you ever gotten Evershelled? And the answer for me is no, because I have the antibodies. I got vaccinated twice. I got my booster, and I still got COVID, which, is a strange thing in itself. But no, Evershelled, I think, is more for people who are using a disease-modifying treatment that prevents you from getting the antibodies.
Mm-hmm.
So I did get the antibodies, and I still got COVID. So who knows what the hell Fauci's really up to, right? All right, Tyler, your turn.
For me, it has
You
been.
can answer that as well.
For me, I'm gonna say this. I'm a little bit opposite of D. So mine has actually been about going into spaces where people don't have a clue about what MS looks like, what MS is. And I think that's been my charge, is to go for the month. It was about going into the unknown. And I leveraged my book to kind of do that, whether it was in athletic spaces of using my words to really effectively communicate with people, whether it was a part of religious organizations, churches, and having to be able to talk to people who don't honestly know what that is. And for a long time, that was my biggest challenge, and what kind of angered me sometimes. You try to explain the MS to people and they don't understand. And I had to take a back seat to that and say, well, if I have the wrong attitude, or if I have this type of attitude, then I'm not doing anything advantageous to help spread what MS is really about. And understanding that I have to plant seeds in the people who don't know what it is, so that when they meet someone with MS, their words, their understanding, or how they communicate with that person with MS will be a lot more different versus me not going into their space and talking to them about it. So a lot of the businesses being able to talk to them about in sports sectors where I've been, where MS is not the leading conversation, has been what my direction in the month of March was. And I leveraged the book to be able to do it, right? Because I leveraged the book. I was like, okay, I talk about my life, and people hang on to the other aspects of life, but they miss the MS part of my life. So if I'm going to come speak for you as a speaker, you're going to hear about this MS stuff, even though that's not what you're originally bringing me in for. But I know I've got to plant the seed, because statistics of where MS runs within this world, and especially within our country, you're going to hear or meet somebody in your lifetime that has MS sooner rather than later. And I've got to prepare you about what that is. So when this person gives you their heart, or quote unquote tells you, I love you, Stu, you might embrace their words a little bit different.
Gotcha. We're going to get more into you planting the seed later on when we talk about you having children, all right? But we'll talk about that later on, all right?
Oh, get your man, dude.
So for those that don't know what I did during MS Awareness Month, MS Views and News, we provided 11 or 12 educational programs, virtual, and we also did in-person programs twice during the month of March. We did one in Columbus, Ohio with Dr. Boster. We did one in Memphis, Tennessee with Dr. Hunter. And both programs were well attended for in-person learning. All right. It was a start. So MS Views and News is the only patient advocacy organization right now doing in-person learning. And, the other ones are like, why would you want to do that? You get so many people online. Well, our programs are in-person and online. So we make them hybrid programs. So we get a very good audience like that. But for the people that are attending, they're doing something they haven't done in 2 years, and that is making them very happy to be there. And when they see that we do it very, very safely, we're not having people sitting on top of people. We have people spread apart. And, they can be comfortable. And, I can't mandate mask wearing, but, we've had people wearing masks at our programs. And so that's a nice thing to do too. But, we tell them that, wearing a mask is it's up to you. You want to wear a mask, wear a mask. I wear a mask at the program, except when I'm on top of the stage, because I'm far away from everybody. But, if I'm running around and I go up to people with it during the Q&A and I tell them, you don't get the microphone anymore. Only I get the microphone. And if you want to ask a question, you can ask a question, but you better be wearing a mask, because you don't get to ask a question without a mask.
Smart.
So, or hold a napkin up, because I don't want it on the microphone and I don't want it near me. All right.
Stuart Schlossman, ladies and gentlemen, he knows how to run a show. Let's
That's
go.
right. I bring a
keep
whip.
them germs.
I bring a whip. This is a knife, but I bring a whip with me. All right. So anyway, that's what we did, and that's what I do, and that's what makes me feel better to be able to do and be able to provide to the MS community, to get them out there and get them to learn about what they need to be learning, which was back to where we were prior to COVID. I mean, MS hasn't stopped. COVID's here. COVID's going to stick around for a long time. Shoot, I almost said the other word, but shoot, we just heard about another variant coming out of Africa and Europe again today. Some other letters. It's beyond BA2. Now there's something else. So, bottom line, get vaccinated, get boosted, and have a small degree of getting sick like I had or that Tyler had, right? Rather than being, terminal. So, because otherwise we don't.
You would rather deal with the virus in your arm before,
right,
in a planned fashion, as opposed to by surprise in your lungs.
That's
Think about
right.
it like that.
That's right. That's right. And that's how I felt even when I died. I mean, I was very, I had all the fluids built up inside, and I needed to go to sleep, but I refused to lay down and go to sleep. I had to sit up because I wanted to make sure that nothing's going to settle in my lungs. So I sat up and I slept for 3 days, even though I had a fever and all that congestion. So
Hey,
it was good.
Hurts.
It was good.
It hurts, man. I don't know, but it hurts, dude. I mean, it hurt, and I'm not gonna lie.
I'm here to talk about your seed and Damian stuff and all the other stuff. So we're good. All right.
Got you.
All right, let's talk about cognition. Hey, I'm going to run out of the room for a minute because I got to run out. I got a caller that keeps calling me, and I got to go call them from a landline so I can keep this phone active. But I'll be right back. I'm going to let you guys talk to each other for a minute. I want you to talk about cognition. I want you to talk to everybody about your fatigue and whatnot.
But starting first, cognition. I'm telling you, man, this is why I have my meditation habit, and it's one of the first things I do in the morning. And sun comes up, meditate. Sun goes down, meditate. Sometimes I don't do it that often in that way, and I feel it when I don't. However, giving the snow globe a chance for the snow to settle, giving it a chance to stop shaking and let it settle. That's what meditation does for me, and that's what I do for my cognition. And going to sleep at a better time, that's not always a possible thing. However, I do know that in my back pocket, I can always just say, you know what, everyone, I just need to close my eyes for 15 minutes and only pay attention to my breathing and smile and turn on my parasympathetic nervous system and just breathe for 15 minutes and then take it from there. That's what I do, because then I can think differently and better. What do you do for your cognition, Tyler Campbell?
I think it's powerful, D, and I want to say this because you said that. There's a study, and this is free knowledge. There's a study that was done by the University of Virginia. For human beings in general, not only for MS, but in all, we struggle with spending time in our thoughts. Yep. To actually get and just kind of think and settle means you have to either, maybe there's some things in your past, maybe things like it causes you to really sit and settle, like Dee said. And a lot of times we want to go, 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 go. We are cultured to keep moving forward, always doing, always moving. And to stand stagnant is like you're not accomplishing anything. You're not moving forward. You are doing something that is disadvantageous. You're taking it backwards if you stop, stand still, and listen. And the study at University of Virginia showed that people would rather shock themselves instead of spending 3 to 4 minutes alone in their room with their thoughts to decompress. Listen to me. They would have rather experienced pain versus spending 3 to 4 minutes within their thoughts. So you're already battling against yourself with cognition recognition, with helping your MS, because we're not wired that way. So for me, I have my trusty watch that is set for a mindfulness tab that takes place periodically throughout the course of my day, because I'll be focused on going, that I won't decompress and give myself time. There is something powerful that allows your mind to think with clarity, that supports you than any other medication could provide, by you just taking the time to give it the ability to rest and stand stagnant and just breathe, that allows you to think with a greater level of clarity. And it is free. It's free. So that's what I started doing. That's what I started doing, man. It's free. That's cognition for me. I got 3 kids, D. I need free.
Yeah, you do. What do you do for your cognition, Stuart? What do you do for your cognition?
I set my phone, and it's got a damn alarm that goes off almost every 15 minutes, and it's annoying as hell with it ringing constantly. And then when I'm not up to answering that one yet or getting it done, I just press snooze, and it goes off another 7 to 9 minutes later. And it's so damn annoying that eventually I take care of it.
Whatever you have to do. It's
whatever works. What do I do? I make a zillion notes. I have my phone ringing all the time to give me those reminders. I have other reminder things that go off all the time. My office or wherever I travel to gets littered with sticky notes all over the place for me to remember what to do.
Hey, you have to mind your own mind.
That's right. That's right.
That University of Virginia study, I just Googled it right there. The headline is, "Doing something is better than doing nothing for most people," the study shows. And I'm telling you, man, it's for most people. And so if you want to become extraordinary, do something different than most people. And it's free. And you don't really have to do anything. What you have to do is nothing.
It's nothing. Yeah. How hard? And who would have thought that was so hard? It's hard for somebody, you know what I'm saying? And that's the way society rolls, which is disadvantageous to our health as MS patients, because it has to go against the grain of the norm of what we are cultured, white, black, brown, green, yellow, purple, male, female, whatever, to do. You got to go against it. And when there's friction, that's sometimes where the most growth for you as a human being can actually be, which is outside the norm. It's outside the norm to spend some time with ourselves. Holy smokes, who would have thought that?
So I want to ask the guys that are online, if you guys have anything to say about this, type it in, all right? Tell us what you would like to do to be part of this conversation. It doesn't have to be a question. Just type it in. If you want to be part of this and let people know what it is that you do to keep your memory intact, or what you do, or what you did for MS Awareness Month, whatever it is, if you want to be part of this conversation, type it in and I'll announce it. I'm not going to say your name, but I will announce it, okay? All right.
No names, Stu. No names.
No names. No names. We get people in trouble tonight doing that, right? Especially with me and my foul mood tonight. All right. So yeah, I could be Howard Cosell tonight. Oh my gosh, that would be terrible. But you know about that. All right. So what do we got next? Your work. I mean, what you're doing for work. I mean, what you guys each do during the course of your day. I mean, you've basically spoken about it, but I mean, what propels you to do what you're doing? Damian.
Yeah, go ahead, dude.
What propels me to do what I'm doing? I know that my job is to help people with multiple sclerosis feel seen, heard, and understood. I also know that my work is to help people with multiple sclerosis feel seen, heard, and understood. And so what I do is I aim to give myself enough room to be able to fulfill that mission, whether that's meditating for a little bit, whether that's making sure I drank enough water today, whether it's something, something small to help me toward that task. That's what I do. And the work comes from making sure I can keep the lights on and a house around me, but also to make sure that I hold space for myself and other people with this condition, because it's not only is it isolating, you do not get the idea that other people understand it. And so even if it's only for 1 minute, 2 minutes, or with the length of a video or a session, if people feel understood, man, I feel great behind that,
Sure. And what about you, Tyler? I mean, yeah, what about you, Tyler? Forgot your name for a minute.
Very, very simple. I mean, I live my life every day. My grandmother used to always say, just try to help one person. And I think sometimes with what we do, because we have the ability to meet so many different masses of people between the three of us, sometimes it can feel overwhelming if you don't feel like you are reaching the masses. I'm talking about when we first got started. And for me, I had to teach myself that it's just about helping one person a day.
Sure.
And so if I don't get up, if I don't make videos, if I don't feel like, if I don't keep pressing, then one person won't be helped. And
That's
so
right.
that gives the birth for what I do. I don't know. It's like, D, I don't be knowing all the people that we reach, but sometimes like we reach people, Stuart, like but I know that if I just focus on that one person,
Mhm.
you know, our brokenness, like we're broken so our pieces can feed the masses.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And so my little piece of my brokenness to help one person is what drives me and fuels me. And like Damian said, he's consistent day in and day out for how he meets people. It fits into his core value system. My core value system is reaching that one person who I may never get to speak to, may never get to talk to, but I know they're listening. One person.
Great. That's fabulous. And before I mean, you guys were great. Why should I say anything, right? But before I do, I want to let
Because
you
you're the
know
host.
that
You are bringing
You the
that.
host? Yeah, no
space.
kidding.
what I'll say it. But right now, I want to let you know about some of the comments that have been made. All right. So one person says that she loves the conversation. Oops, I said she, so it wasn't a guy.
Oh,
Right?
Stuart.
So, oops. Well, we don't know the name, right? So then there's another person that said, "I love your interactions with each other. Very inspirational." And that's exactly what it's to be. Very inspirational. All right. In fact, I've been trying to get to Austin, but evidently wasn't inspirational enough to get to Austin to be on somebody's show.
Listen to
All right.
this. I'm
So-
talking. Go
He's
ahead.
relentless. He'll get
Albert
you.
and Costello.
I want to do that on horseback at the same time. I want us to be video recorded while we're prancing around on the field very, very slowly on top of horses, bareback or with saddle, all right? And just having a conversation with each other about MS and it being video recorded at the same time, having a nice, easy conversation, all right? All right. So another person is asking or saying that regarding the cognitive aspects that it's easier for he or her to do the same thing every day, and it keeps them from forgetting stuff, especially where they have the repetition going.
And on that, I aim to do all of the more complicated tasks or the mindful tasks earlier in the morning. Fresh. Let's do it. If I got to do it, man, do it before noon if you can. You know,
That's
you know, my schedules are always a whole page of notes.
Yep.
20 times. And it doesn't matter which one I put at the top, it never gets done at the top. Maybe it gets done at the end of the day when I have, you know, when I just want to chill out a little bit and then it gets done. But, you know, I've got so much crap to do during each and every day that it's impossible to get through the entire list. And so it becomes a stressful day every day just to try to get through a portion of my list. But you know, going back to like even what you guys were talking about before, which I forgot what it was already. What were we talking about?
We were talking about cognition, right?
Well, it must have been because I forgot.
Our work. And on that note, Stuart, part of all of this is giving yourself grace.
Grace.
So
That's it.
whether or not you give that to another person, whether or not you give that to yourself, you can have a whole list of things to do. And this is what I want to do. However, when you're unable to do that because of life, because of MS, a lot of the time, a lot of the things we want to do, we can't do because of MS. And begin to find the space within yourself to give yourself grace and say, well, maybe it's not the best at this point. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it later. It's cool. It's not okay, but it's cool because I've given myself grace. No one else will give you grace unless you give yourself grace.
Sure. And I want to let you know that everybody that works with me, I like to give kudos to. I mean, they say, why you saying thank you to me? And I said, because I can't do all the things that I do without you being part of it to do it as well.
Believe that.
Believe that. And I want to piggyback off of what D said. The other word, D said grace. I want to also mention shame. And because you don't have to be shameful with MS because you don't meet that need for the list to be accomplished. I think that so the shame aspect The grace and the shame aspect, those are things that we can control. We can give ourselves grace and we can free ourselves from shame. And I think when you have those two things, it is a recipe for you further loving and valuing yourself and being so incredibly proud of yourself. And I think every time you hear the craziest athletes say they strive for perfection but never meet it. So why can't we embody the same mindset as MS patients in striving for the things that we want to day in and day out? And if it doesn't happen, we can give ourselves grace and free ourselves from shame because we can wake up and try again tomorrow.
That's right.
That's okay.
That's very true.
That is
very
all good.
TC Speaks with a global reach. Let's go.
Hey. Hey, and see, there's the rapper. So we segued, Stu. Okay, we went patient advocate, right? We got a little bit of that. We went nerd, all right, in the very beginning with Damian. Yep. Now we're switching to rapper. Did you just catch it?
There you go.
Multiples of 3. Multiples of 3. 3, 6, 9, 12.
I heard it.
He's
so
more.
It reminds me of that guy that does that program on TV. I forgot his name, with the big beard these days, and he does. I don't remember the name of the program. Truth or Consequences or something like that.
And, okay, I gotta check it out, Stu. I gotta check it out. I'm gonna Google big beard guy.
He was also on Law and Order for a period of time, and I ran into him actually at the Kennedy Center, but I cannot remember his name. He was going out one door and I was coming into another. I was going out one door, he was coming out a door. I don't remember what it was, but an actor, and Damian sounds like this guy. He should be getting as much as this guy gets, right?
I want to know who it is. Doggone it!
I don't remember his name, so I'm hoping somebody that's watching this program can know.
Law and Order. My wife watches Law and Order.
All I can see is that Bob Barker hosted the television.
Bob Barker.
These days, a black dude. I forgot his name. He's on a lot of programs now, though. But anyway, well, if I circle back to it later on, I'll bring it up. So let's get, since we're running out of time, let me get to something else. All right. Oh, Anthony Anderson.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, you said Law and Order. I'll just say Blackish. I'll say Blackish because I can say it.
Well, yeah, Blackish. He's on that too. Right,
I'll say Blackish.
He was on Law and Order.
So you couldn't say Blackish. You don't need to say Blackish. I'm gonna say the Blackish for you.
Truth and Consequences, the newer version with his mama. His mama's on there all the time too.
Yeah,
it's a really funny show, right?
I got you. Yeah.
All right. So anyway, yeah, Damian reminds me of this guy, but this guy's got a deeper pocket than Damian. So
to tell the truth. There you go. That's the name of the show.
That's what I said. To tell. Oh, I said Truth and Consequences. You're right. It's to tell the truth. Yeah, sorry about that. All right.
Well, that's the nerd. The nerd will figure it out.
I had truth in there. All right. So what's next? What's next is we're going to talk about the intimacy aspect. All right.
Okay.
And why are we going to talk about that? Well, it's a factor, right? Men with MS a lot of them have a situation or a problem, whether it be ED, whether it be a lack of feeling, and whether it be a lot of different things. And
also women with MS.
Women too. Sensational
feeling. This is the guy show.
Libido level.
This is the guy show.
This is the guy starting.
We're not talking about the women tonight, all right? I can't lead that program either, but let's talk about us guys that have certain situations with our intimacy with people. Now, evidently, Tyler got past that because, like I said earlier, he laid those good seeds and he had children. And so I'm going to let
He wrote that down too. He was like, yo, I'm going to use this. Let's go.
He wasn't going to let us get off of this show without readdressing it. Go ahead, Stu.
Nope. I want you to tell us what got you to realize what was wrong and how, and I'm not saying this in any kind of negative way. I want you to talk about it because I want people out there to understand that it's all right for them to come forward and say, I have an issue, I have a problem, but there are ways to resolve it, as you can tell us, as Damian could tell us, as I can tell.
So yeah, and again, as a lover for history, this is a topic that I became emphatic about researching. I think that's the main thing, is that there's knowledge about this versus what we know. There's knowledge about ED and how you handle these type of dysfunctions with MS that come, or even if you didn't have it, there's information that is out there. The biggest thing for me was my level of communication with my spouse, me coming to the forefront as a man, because sometimes as a man, we know this, our spouse may see that something is wrong, or somebody we love can see that something is wrong with us, but we don't project it and we don't express it, right? And it's crazy because we think this other person that we are close to can't feel it, which is wild, right? And so for me, it was coming to the forefront and saying, I noticed there's a problem with me. Okay, that was number one, is just being able to openly communicate and effectively say that I am experiencing erectile dysfunction, feeling libido level issues, right? And then from there, after that openness, it became the doctor's appointments, seeking out information or helping with what I'm experiencing. Is it disadvantageous to medications, my health? And the biggest thing that I learned, guys, was that there were things dietary wise that had to cut for me, and I had to alleviate because I was seeking out addressing this, but at the same time, I was putting irregularities and toxins into my body that were hurting me, even if I didn't have MS. So
Like what?
Like, oh, okay, so like, okay, if you live a life with I'm black, Stu, right? So high blood pressure runs in my family, which means obviously blood is not circulating the way that it needs to below the belt. And I'm not doing myself a disadvantageous as somebody who comes from high blood pressure, who suffered from high blood pressure, continuing to put fast foods, fried foods, things of wheats, the things that are disadvantageous to me, the raisins, even if they're natural sugar products, those sugars can still, they're not helpful for me as a patient who has high blood pressure and cholesterol history within my family. So the biggest thing I learned was dietarily, there are some things that have to change. And oh, by the way, we want to cure our erectile dysfunction, but we're unwilling to make changes to what we want to consume. We want to continue to have diet, not want to abide by a diet, but we want to have a quick fix, which is a pill or something else to work and to do work for us while we don't have to make changes. So that was my biggest thing, is I was trying to make changes, but I wanted the pills. I wanted this other stuff to work. How is that going to work when you're eating McDonald's? How is that going to work when you're eating fried foods? How is that going to work when you're having Kool-Aid and juices and Gatorades, even though they're classified as healthier than sodas? But what about the sugar content? That's blocking. I need every ounce of blood circulation I can get as a person with MS to flow. And I'm putting things in my body that aren't letting it flow. Take away, D. I had to make changes.
That's honestly what it is. It's being giving yourself the grace to understand that these things aren't working like how maybe you've known them to, and releasing shame from that maybe they don't work like they used to. And I just looked up on the internet real quick. There are, let's even hear, 1, 2, 3, 4 different medications that one can potentially speak to their doctor about. Mm-hmm. And plus, because of the guilt and the shame that can be associated with this, because identity is tied into this too, the man might not be able to say that to the doctor and say that there is an issue. And this is why it's particularly advantageous to bring your partner, to bring your spouse to your meetings with your neurologist, because the neurologist might ask questions and you might say, no, ain't nothing wrong with that. But your spouse might be like, could you tell me a little bit more information about that? Because he might not think that there's a problem, but I've been here and there is a problem, sir, and or madam. So it's being truthful with oneself, and that's part of the grace, and that's part of releasing shame. And it's part of understanding where you are right now. It doesn't mean that you were here always. It doesn't mean that you're going to always be here. It's where you are now. And because of that, it's time to figure out what might be the next best thing for you so your future nows can be different. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Let's go. And D, tell them that it's okay if the one medication doesn't work.
That's fine. That's fine.
There are others, and there are different levels of dosages, and it doesn't mean it's not going to work.
Medications are just chemicals, and chemicals have an effect or they don't have an effect, because you are a soup of chemicals. There are 50 trillion cells in your body, and just because you took 25 milligrams of another chemical does not necessarily mean those 50 trillion cells are going to react to that chemical in the way in which you thought that it might. That's not how things go. And that's why you give yourself the grace to release the shame, to give yourself extra grace to find out how can you get back to the middle? How can you get back to the joy? Because it's all love and it's all joy. And having these issues sort of get you to a place where it's not joyful and there's no love in it. You just want it to go the way it's supposed to go. It's like, hey, let's get back to grace. Let's get back to love. Let's get back to joy. And that is how you begin to peel that onion, the layers of that onion, and really get to the heart of the matter.
And Stu,
I never heard it get called an onion, but it was close to that, right?
hey,
layers, sir.
layers. And listen, if you guys can do anything else, listen to what Damian said and look up the definitions. If you're taking notes, look up the definitions. There's a difference between joy and happiness.
Boom.
Damian used joy. So
Joy.
look up joy and the difference between that and happiness. People get them confused. It's different. Inspirational, motivational. We talked about that.
That's
Go
right.
look up grace. Go look up grace of what he talked about.
I'm very specific about my words for a
That's
reason.
what I'm saying. I hope people are catching it because I catch it, D, of what you're saying. Look
Just
at
bought me a
listen to Damian's word selection and go
so-
look at the definitions.
So because you brought that up, Damian, tell us the difference between your joy and your happiness.
Joy is something that, well, they both are internal. I'm not going to sit here and give you Webster's definition, but joy is something that you have to tap into. Happiness is conditional. Like, oh, I'm happy I ate. But you have joy that you are alive to eat. You understand what I'm saying? Like it's the joy, it sits differently. It's more
That's good.
wide.
That's good.
It's a wider human experience that's less fleeting than a momentary happiness.
Your
That's right.
joy isn't nearly stolen from you as quickly. Your happiness can walk out the door while we finish this sentence.
Believe that.
It can go that fast. It can be that fleeting. But when you have joy, it can't be robbed or taken away from you that quickly.
Yep.
Again, they're free. But when you understand the difference of them, it will make all the difference in the world as to how you go about keeping Damian's good energy and keeping, those things you love about yourself indwelt in you with your MS. Go look it up because y'all need to catch it when Damian speaks. He is intentional on the words that he uses.
For the most part, happiness depends on outside circumstances.
Yes, it does.
Instead of just having TC speaks, we need DW speaks.
Hey, I just hope people are listening because I'm listening.
Joy is internal.
Yes.
Joy
And for those that are online, I know they're listening. There are people commenting. I'm going to read some of those comments in a few minutes. But also for the people who are not online, we are going to let them have it, and we're going to share this video with them on social media afterwards, and hopefully we'll get a lot more people to understand. We're going to use keywords such as joy and happiness and grace and shame and erection and de-erection, and things like that.
Yeah.
All right.
Why not?
Why not? Exactly. So, there's a person that wrote some comments. Sex is important. That's why you talk about it. Communication is very important between partners, and the words are quite powerful that you guys are talking about. And so she wanted me to express that to you all. Okay.
Thank you.
So, it is really good. I mean, but people do also need to know that, those pills that they come out and they tell guys to take, it's not like it's going to happen immediately. It's got, those pills work for you when you're ready. All right. It's not just that it's just going to give you an instant erection. All right. You got to be ready for it. I mean, you got to be in the mood. It's got to be, whatever. And those pills don't die out after 4 hours, even though they tell you, you're going to have this thing for 4 hours. You got to go to the hospital. It doesn't work like that. All right. It works when your body has that desire for it to work.
Yeah.
All right. It works and it can last. From what I've heard, I've spoken with a lot of urologists. It can stay in your body for up to 18 hours. You may take it at 6 o'clock in the evening, but you fall asleep at 9:30. All right. But when you wake up in the morning, you're going to wake up in the morning. It's going to feel good for you. All right. And it could work all the way around. So I'm just Damien
That's
and,
good,
and,
Stu.
and Tyler
No,
are
that's
laughing about it
good.
right now. But I'm just
Let it
telling you
go.
what's happened in the real world. I mean,
Yeah.
the real world is that these things are there for your benefit. All right. It's not that you should hide away from everybody because you might be having certain issues going on with your
Yes.
body. There are things out there, just like you take MS medication to not get worse. There are things out there that you could take for symptom management that it can help you be better and be happier and live in joy.
It's
That's
all
good.
about identity, whether it's the guy thing or the lady thing,
Mm-hmm.
and you're being in touch with your identity. You're like, oh, I used to be able to do that. Oh, I can do that. And it's like, nah, man, like you have a different I right now. Like I say
Right.
before, later, 2 months, 3 months from now, you might have a different I, especially if you change your diet, especially if you take this medication,
Yes.
especially if you alter what I means. Okay, right now, I eat this, I do that, and I have these issues. But if you go, I have made this change in this way, I have
Mm-hmm.
taken this thing in the other way, your I might be something different that is separate from what you are currently experiencing.
That's right. That's
And
right.
male or female,
That's right.
the satisfaction of pleasing your partner takes place long before the bedroom section of y'all's relationship hits. So
Be
for
honest.
some of us, take the pressure off yourself and know that the pleasing of your partner
That's right.
comes forth way
right.
before the bedroom aspect of it, because a lot of us are feeling pressured because we have this level of dysfunction, male or female, and when the bedroom happens, it's tight, it's not free, it's not fun, it's more worrisome, it's you're thinking and you're not even focused, and your partner feels that, and it's a disaster. So take the pressure off yourself, and you love on this person long before the bedroom. You touch that person long before any of that takes place, and it helps you take the pressure off yourself and eliminates, Damian, shame.
Shame, gracious shame.
That you're bringing to the bedroom of this intimate section. I'm done. Go ahead, Stu.
Damian Shame.
Pardon?
I heard him say Damian Shame.
No, I was saying what Damian was alluding to was shame.
That was the internet, sir. That was the zeros and ones. That is all.
But that's that was it, because we're so tense, right? Because you love this person so much, you just want to please this person so much, and again, it doesn't look like Hollywood. It doesn't look like the romance novels you read. It may look differently. We are different. We have to be loved differently. We are pleasured differently, and so that pleasure takes place long before the bedroom. So do your homework on your person, have a communication with them, like Damian's talking about. Jot down what makes them tick and what doesn't, and you stay in that lane. You craft out a good plan in that lane, and everything that takes place in the bedroom is just the icing on the cake. Take the pressure off yourself and eliminate the shame.
That's right. That's right. And I want to thank you all for that. So I think that really one day that we need to put together some kind of program where we have 10 guys in the room, all right, and we can, bring people in from all over the United States and do this, and not virtually, but actually be there and get to, really impress the importance of the conversation that people need to have. All right. And it's not just that we're doing this and we see each other online and we don't see everybody else that's online, but I do get to see the names of those that are out there. But, it would be nice to be able to open up and get more people involved. I mean, even the medical community needs to hear what the two of you are speaking about. They can hear me too, but they need to hear what the two of you are speaking about, right?
All of it.
And hear what, to be able to relate it to their patients, okay, of what can be done. It's not just textbooks, it's not just a textbook situation. It's listening to people and hearing how their love for others can be out there, and how, the importance of the communication aspect and talking with people and just educating them as well. All right.
It's powerful. Education
You
will
have
always
anything
be
else you want to
powerful.
say? Because otherwise we're going to end up tonight.
Look, I just want to say thank you, Stuart, for continuing to hold this space. Thank everyone for their questions, for their space holding it, and showing up. Part of anything, the biggest part of anyone doing anything is showing up. You showed up, Stuart. TC showed up. Everyone in the audience showed up. So thank you.
Well,
thank you all.
And
Thank you.
Damian, you showed up.
I'm
You
gonna
showed
show
up,
up.
and there are people that are responding that if we did a live program somewhere, they would love to attend as well. So,
Hey,
and
it's
there's
speaking.
one person that's been commenting a lot named Angela. She wanted me to say her name, Angela. She said, you guys have each seen her on your programs as well. And I'm not going to tell you her last name, but Angela. So when Angela hits you up at your different programs, you can say, is that the Angela? Yeah, that's the Angela.
I'm just glad
All right,
you
so-
said it because she said you could say it, Stu.
There you go.
That's
No
right.
trouble. I got
She
nervous.
said, you can use my name. I think they all know me by my name. And I would love to go to a program in person with all you guys. And thanks, Stu. So, you know, again, I want to thank Tyler and Damian for doing everything that we have done online since the beginning of COVID. All right. And I hope to be able to continue with you guys. You're just going to have to hit me up with some different topics. We can't always talk about sex, can we? Nah, I'm sure we can.
I don't know. You're the driver of the thing.
I think he enjoys it. D, I think Stu enjoys this part of the conversation the most. I think this
couldn't wait
is
to
what
get to
Stu's bread and butter. I think this is where you feel the most comfortable. Hey, y'all, Stu
I'm
unbuttoned
very
his shirt one more notch if y'all can tell. Look at Stu. Look at
I'm
Stu.
very comfortable talking about it, all right? Yeah, let me go. There you go. All right, I'm very, very comfortable talking about it. I have not an issue bringing it up or bringing it up. I do have an issue, but having the conversation about everything that goes on is a great thing. And I think that we do need to know, or we do need to be able to speak with people more about the other things like symptoms, things that we go through, you know, on a daily basis, not just the fatigue, not just the cognition, but what else? I mean, I know that Damon and I suffer from pain. I don't know if Tyler has that as well, but maybe that's a topic for another time, as well as a few other things.
Yep.
All right.
Yes, sir.
So we'll be back quarterly to do this, I hope, as long as we don't have babies in the way of getting online.
We can't plan on that, buddy. We
We're
can't.
good.
You can't
We are
plan.
good.
You can't plan on that. I got it. We just need to have a sitter standing by. You know, we got to have somebody in the background waiting, hand off the little one. You know.
Hey, it's all. That's what we got to do. We got to do it.
But joy, there's a lot of joy in this space, man. And even though there's pain, joy can live amongst pain,
Man.
and that's the most important thing.
Come
That's
on.
true.
Come
Very,
on,
very
somebody. That's Frankie Beverly Mays, Stuart. You didn't know that. That's Frankie Beverly. Damian quoting that. Joy and pain. We got sunshine.
What else?
and
What else?
rain. I'm messing with you, Stu. Go play that album, Stu. Go play that album. You'll
Not a
know
problem.
what I'm
Not
talking
a
about.
problem.
Go play that.
We're gonna say goodnight to the world. I know Bill's waiting in the background somewhere to turn off the program, so I'm just gonna say goodnight, everybody. We'll see you soon. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Peace, y'all.
Thank you.
Love y'all.